Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to Kingdomcraft, where we're building this super awesome plains kingdom within the kingdom world. And as you know, we've done some awesome progress on the pathways throughout here. Iskall and Wells and Cubfan have built these amazing houses along here, and of course our bridge build that we just finished in the last episode. But in today's episode, we need to start working on finishing our pathway, tunnels, and all sorts of good stuff. So as you can see, I've decided to bring the pathway around here. I think it'll look really cool to kind of have it loop around the windmill and really make that kind of a showpiece. And as you can see, I've kind of arranged the pathway to kind of dip down under here. And then, of course, here is our bridge from our last episode. So, of course, if you missed the bridge build here, we built this beautiful bridge. And, of course, it fits in with the style of the rest of the builds around here. Now, as you can see, I have widened the river a little bit, as we talked in the last episode about that. So we've widened the river a little bit. And then in today's episode, this is where we're working here. So we'll have the pathway come all the way up to here. And this will be an amazing tunnelway right through the mountain. I think this will be really cool. And we'll jazz this up and actually make it look really nice. And then, of course, the pathway will continue down the hill. And this is where things get exciting. So I was doing some thinking. And one thing I want to do is have the pathway come all the way up here and all the way up to the top here. As you can see, what we could do is make a beautiful gorge down in this little valley. I think this could be really cool. So as you can see, I was just kind of just testing out a couple things, and I think we can connect it to this area and actually have like a really cool gorge. And I don't know, it kind of fits in where I live. I literally live inside of a giant gorge like this in real life. So totally awesome. And what I'm thinking is we do another bridge under the railroad track here going across. I think that would be amazing. I think that'd be really cool. And then have it pop up somewhere over there right into the kind of the town hall of the Plains Kingdom. And yeah, so let's get started. And of course, right here, we're going to build a farmer's house with a barn and all sorts of good stuff. I'm super duper excited about it. So yeah, let's get started. All right, and let's jump right into it. So where the pathway kind of goes up this little hill right here, I wanted to kind of have like a little turn. So I wanted to kind of go straight, and then I wanted to veer off to the side. So I think Wells could take a pathway and then go straight up into his windmill. So I think that would work out perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear out this land along here, and then I wanna show you some good techniques for making a super duper awesome pathway. Now, as you can see, how we're going across here like this, we can come in here and refine little bits here and there, make it wider, make it skinnier, just depending on how we want to do it. So let's run it right up to this poster right about there. Looking good. We'll cut that in there. We'll open this, make it just a little bit wider as we go down, and we can jazz up all of this. And, once we kind of get a little farther within this and we kind of get basic pathway designed, and then we can kind of cut and then head to the actual build where we're going to build the tunnel, which I think is going to be really cool. So first thing I like to do with pathways of this variety, so this is kind of a trampled terrain, kind of a rustic feel. Like as you can see, this is kind of a out in the Plains Kingdom. Each kingdom, at least this is what I've been told so far, is there's a palette. There's a palette of general materials that are used for each particular biome, so they don't all look the same. So you kind of have a theme, and you basically have a basic palette of colors to stick by, and that's what we're trying to do. I don't know what the basic palette is for this particular build, but from what I can guess is it's oak wood. It is, milk chocolate, just a little bit of stone. Wells did tell me just use minor bits of stone because you don't want it to look exactly like the Mountain Kingdom. At least that's what I think, and that's kind of what we're going to do. So as you can see, I'm adding just a little bit of, and we'll remove that. I'm just adding a little bit of hardened clay. This is the hardened clay that's been roasted in the fire, of course, smelter, whatever, or furnace. I'm just thinking of a million different types of Minecraft at the moment. There we go. So as you can see, it just adds a little bit of mud on the sides of the path. You can either, bring in a little bit of, carpet pieces here and there too, to try to give it a little bit more dimensionality. And you can just kind of stick in some of these pieces along there. Now, I like to keep this generally clear of any different types of like things in the direct vicinity of the path. So as you can see, I like to add just a little bit of, maybe a little bit of, standard dirt, not bumping it up against any of the green grass, as you can see. Now we may come through here and add like a bit more, detail here and there, some stones, but generally keep the center of the path fairly clear. Now you might be noticing right here, these actual blocks. Now we're going to swap over here and grab some of those. There we go, looking good, looking good. And like I like to do over here, for the most part with this path I want to keep these generally to the sides of the path. So I want that general straight shot going across here to be fairly trampled, pretty well trampled down. Oops, hello, you're not supposed to be there. Another thing you can do is take out some, some stairs and kind of arrange those on the edges of it. It helps kind of distinguish the sides of the pathway. So just little things like that can really start to make your pathway really come to life and really give it some feel. Okay, there we go. Looking good. So let me back off here a little bit. There we go. Let's push that across there. Nice, nice, nice. There we go. And push that a little bit more. There we go. Looking good. Okay, so over here, think about staircases. So I'm going to swap back, grab out my coarse dirt. There we go. So actually have a pathway that's not going to disappear into green grass. There we go. Let's add one more block right there. And this will constantly change. We're going to add some more stone, some more details here and there, but it's definitely not the final product at this point. But I think this will work out really good. It'll give Wells like a nice little spot to work off of here to add a pathway going up into his windmill. There we go. Looking good, looking good. So we can do something like that. See how this looks a little awkward? So we'll kind of back off that maybe just a little, and we'll maybe take out this piece. And there we go. That looks much nicer. Much, much nicer. And this is where we can kind of, start to incorporate a couple little extra details here and there. There we go. That's an awesome path, I think. At least, hopefully it is. There we go. And, just slowly start to incorporate some of those designs and ideas into there. And then maybe in this back corner, we can stick, a piece right there, avoiding any scar mistakes. And now let's bring out just a little bit of andesite. So now what we can do is maybe just in this little spot right here, there's a little rock living here. Just a little rock, not a big rock, just a small guy. There we go. And we'll swap that back over here, put that back. One thing we can do a little bit later is we can add some more, cobblestone, different things like that. Let me actually just check this box real quick to see if there's any hello there, my friends. And is there any half slabs? No, but we can make some. Look at this. Ah, there we go. That's what I needed. All right, let's do it. I'm so glad that box was there. Anyway, so you can do something like that. Maybe dip down just a little bit. See, we're adding that dimensionality, and this is a pretty awesome rock now. Look at that. Nice. Now, do we have any leaves? No, we don't have any leaves. But if we did, what I like to do is put some leaves back in these corners here, just constantly giving it a little bit of feeling like that. And then we'll make some of our lampposts that we made over there. And then, yeah, so I'm going to work on this pathway all the way down to the bridge, and I'll see you in just 1 minute. All right, and let's take a quick look at how we're doing so far. So as you can see, we've gotten some extra rock built into the pathway. So some extra little stones and different details like that. I still need to get the plant life. As you can see, we dip down into this little section that looks kind of like you're kind of carved out, maybe a dry riverbed. And so you have a little bit of stone on either side. I use some of these planks to kind of smooth the transition up. Of course, we're going to add more of these little grass thingamabobs and more plant life along here. This will be a great place for them to plant. I think a tree would look amazing right there, so we'll get to that. And then, of course, it dips down through here. Now, nobody told me that this was down here. This isn't scar safe. I could fall into that. That'd be dangerous. I would die. Anyway, as you can see, this kind of flows through here like that and then goes up the ramp here. And then, like we were talking about before, adding some of these jungle planks. Now, I forgot to mention that this was Iskal's idea to add the jungle instead of I think I was adding the milk chocolate, and this looks way better. So big thanks to Iskal for pointing that out in our last episode. Actually, that was my first episode on Kingdomcraft by adding those blocks right there. And yeah, if you don't know Iskal yet, definitely check him out. There's a link to him in the description, and he's one of the nicest, most genuine YouTubers I've ever met. So definitely go and check him out if you haven't already. All right, there we go. So we're going to slowly add some of these blocks in here like that, and then we're going to sneak on over here like so. And then, as you can see, we're going to cover up the non-scar safe area. And yeah, so I'll meet you in a minute and get ready for some tunnel action. All right, and welcome back in. As you can see, we're making some progress here and there. We covered up the unsafe scar trap over there. And then, of course, we went over here. Now, one thing you can do is to try to incorporate some of these stairs, and you can kind of make more depth into the path. As you can see, look at how that drops down. And I think that looks really cool. And up and over the hill. Now, of course, this hill needs a lot of work along these edges, and especially right here to try to frame that up. Maybe a nice tree will look nice there. And then I wanted to kind of make a little hump and then right into the bridge. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started. So we're just trying to make that little hump kind of that goes up and then kind of drops on down. So we're just gonna start getting our little coarse dirt action going along here, trying to find kind of what works, what doesn't. All right, there we go, looking good, looking good. So yeah, I think this will look pretty cool. So once we kind of go over this edge, and then it drops down into this little section right here. And then of course we need to continue to kind of build up the land. So that's what I've been working on down here, is slowly building up the land. So when you do build bridges, like we talked about in our prior episode, the great thing about it is if you have a bridge that's really measured out perfect, you got all the dimensions perfect, and you're a little shy on the river. So if you come up a little shy of like measurements, and you're like, oh, I'm a couple blocks, off. No problem, no problem. Just adjust the river. Just make the river a little wider, a little narrower. It's perfect. It's great. You can do whatever you want. There we go. And wonderful. And then let's do a little more path talk. That's right. It's path talk time. So one thing that I spend a lot of time on landscaping, as you guys know, and pathways and stuff like that, because I feel like that's something that's greatly overlooked in a lot of builds, is the pathways in people's designs. So when you're building your worlds, don't forget to really connect your particular builds together with something kind of a compelling, interesting path. And what I mean by that is not just a path that has lots of details and little bits of rocks and all that good stuff, which is important, but also remember the sight lines. So when you're coming over this hill, it's kind of cool that you see the two little houses out in the distance, and then you kind of come down here and you round the corner and you see that, whoa, look at that big windmill, and you kind of work your way up around this corner and you see the houses. Or if you're on this particular way, you kind of go up this little hill and, oh my gosh, what's on the other side? Oh, a bridge. And different things like that. When you're working on your passes, try to think about what you're going to be looking at when you're walking about, or how you want other people to visualize when you're there moving around and what they see. If you want to kind of control the viewer's eye, and I kind of feeling like going one more block higher. You guys feeling a little adventurous? I don't want to go any higher because, oh yeah, let's not actually do that. We're going to be a little less adventurous than I thought. A little less adventurous, Scar, because I don't want this to be too much higher than the actual windmill's plane of landscape that it's on top of. But anyway, let's jump down here, and then from here we can start to kind of incorporate a couple little stairs here and there going down, and then this will be the same way kind of going back up. But yeah, those are things that I find that landscaping, kind of path work, different things like that, are things that are unfortunately kind of overlooked. Minecrafters, we're so good at building. Like, we can build all sorts of amazing structures, but I think one thing that we could, I think I could and everybody could, is just always remember those landscaping things, because that's what your builds and your environment lives in. It lives in the landscape, so that make sure your builds are kind of cohesive with the whole environment that they're in. And I think that's what we're kind of getting around here, which is very exciting. All right, looking good, looking good. I'm loving this. This is looking great. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of continue this across, and then we're going to do some tunneling. All right, and welcome back, and it's time to work on our tunnel. So I'm trying to think of some tunnel designs. Well, I built this section going across here. So we built this up looking super fancy. And at this point, let me know what you guys think so far. How are we improving the landscape? Do you guys have any tips or suggestions on other cool ways of enhancing the environment around us? Definitely let me know. But we got to work over here. So I'm trying to think of some tunnel designs, and I was kind of in the corner of my eye. I was like, why don't we just incorporate the roof lines in these houses that Wells designed into this? And I think that would be amazing. So yeah, let's do it. So here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump over here. We're just going to get some basic stuff set up here. So we're just going to push these up to about 3 blocks high. There we go. So I think this will make a really interesting and cool entrance to the tunnel. Now, the question is, as I might go a little high, and we might actually just have to expand the top of the mountain. Like we talked about with the bridge, is when you're building things like this, focus more on the actual kind of man-made structure, because you can always be Mother Nature and do the hills and the mountains and the rivers to your own liking. So that's why I'm going to push this up just a little bit higher. There we go. And I'm going to put that block right there and jump right across. And you guessed it, go a boom and a bam, and there we go. And we're going to place that right there. Looking good, looking good. And I'll place that on top. Now we might make some alterations. We might make a couple things. So my first thoughts here are, I would like it to be just a little bit higher. If you can kind of follow what I'm doing here just a little bit. This section, I'm feeling good about it, but I think this just needs to be a little bit higher. And I think that might be good. So let's just jump down. Let's push back over here. And there we go. Looking good, looking good. So one thing I'm thinking about is it really could use like a little wing. Just a little wing. Nothing too crazy, just a little wing. There we go. I don't like that wing. I'm gonna make another wing. I'm gonna cut back in here. I'm just gonna do a happy slab. There we go. And I got some other ideas too what we can do here. So let's get up here. Let's get up there. Looking good so far. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand it outwards just a little bit. Oh, hello. You just disappeared on me. Come back. There you go. Trying to get away from me? It's not going to happen. Here we go. Let's see. Let's bring this piece up to here. I got another idea that we could do right there to really jazz it up. There we go, looking good so far. So yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think of the landscape so far, and if you guys have any cool suggestions or anything along those lines you guys want to see me incorporate into the design, definitely let me know. And there we go, looking good. It looks nice. I think that looks good. I think what we did there by expanding it outward just added a little depth, like we're always trying to accomplish in Minecraft. That's like the #1 thing I always try to stress when I'm talking about this stuff is always trying to find any way possible to add more depth to anything. And I think we kind of accomplished that today. We might be getting a little far away from the design that Will is kind of laid down as the foundation of a lot of the design of the builds. But I think that looks cool. It kind of adds a little bit of unique design, you know, kind of going through the tunnel and everything. But yeah, that looks pretty good. So let me do the other side and I'll be right back. All right, and welcome back. So we've got the interior started to kind of come together. So what I've done over here is I've enclosed this section right there because there was another cave kind of hole right there, and I wasn't too much into that. So I decided to close that in, and I'm just running some simple blocks across the top here, just a little bit of milk chocolate on the top, and then this will create kind of like a nice kind of even feel to it so that it just feels like you're kind of going through the tunnel here, and it's kind of just nicely made. It's nothing too fancy, but it's just evenly made together, and I think it'll look really nice. All right, it looks like we're out of our milk chocolates. We'll switch on over to our candy bars here. There we go, nice milk chocolate bars, beautiful, wonderful. Put those all the way across, wonderful. All right, next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna space these out by 4, and then we're gonna push these blocks all the way going up, and we'll do that on the side, and come on over and do it once again. And like I said, all of these are spaced out by 4 from the pillars that they go together with. Okay, wonderful. And now let's jump over here and we'll grab this. And what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna add just a little bit of detail in the interior here. There we go. And just bringing these pieces together, and then we'll sneak on over here and do the same. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I wanna do for lighting. I don't have some of the material that I wanna use for lighting, so we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna do it as we always do it. There we go, beautiful, wonderful. And then I'm trying to decide. I kind of like having some of these kind of caves off to the side. It kind of creates a little bit of a mystery and things of that nature. So just adding little bits of cave like this, and then I think I'll do like a drop off of 2 so we don't have any creeper inspectors coming to inspect any of our work. There we go. And then we can just kind of maybe, you know, just do all sorts of little fun little details in here like that. Kind of carve out some sections like that. And I think it might be cool. I was going to enclose it on either side, so if I just do walls on either side, but I kind of like having the kind of open feel in here. We'll see. We can always cover it up eventually, but for now I kind of like having it kind of open in here, and then maybe having a drop off. So maybe even having just like a little drop off along here gives it that feel like you're kind of balancing above here while you go through this mountain. I think that looks cool. And like I said before, this is Minecraft. We can change it if we want. If we don't like it, we can always come through here and change it again. It's not permanent at all. It's easy as peasy. We can just sneak a couple blocks in there and get that all out of there. And we've got it all set up, and you guessed it, ready to go. So yeah, like I said, we can just push down these blocks just a little bit deeper so they kind of are a little bit more cohesive. There we go. And then I'm trying to think of what I could do for the ground. So let's jump over here real quick and let's grab some andesite. Let's just grab a couple of little pillars here. I think that'll look nice. We can drop a couple of these guys into the ground, I think. Just a couple of them here and there, just to kind of create a nicer feel in here. Like we talked about, we want it to be, oh, hello, you're not supposed to be in there. That's a Scar mistake. Just want it to be a little bit, have a feeling like, you know, it's kind of put together. Somebody put a little bit of time into it, but it's still pretty rugged. So we're just going to put a couple of these blocks like that. And let's just make just a couple more. There we go. Wonderful. And we'll stick those in there. So just really super simple, something like that. And then we can take out, some buttons here and, just put some rocks on the sides of the walls and just a couple little details like that, I think always make kind of a cool cave entrance just look a little bit better. So I need to finish this up because it's starting to get a little late. So yeah, let me finish this up and then we'll do a tour. All right, and welcome back, and let's do a little tour of our progress. So I'm starting to get down the street lights. So we're starting to get that progress complete. So we got the street lights through here. We have all this beautiful ground cover. We have all the different variety of textures and colors that make up a beautiful pathway. You can see all the little rock details and the clay. And as you can see, it dips down through here. You can see little rock slides up in the sides. So hopefully you're getting some inspiration as we walk through here for all your different landscaping and of course your path work. So let's head up the little hump here and head up to there, and you can see our beautiful bridge and of course our brand new tunnel out in the distance. So at that point, we still need to add some more lights. So we'll get to those on our live stream. So some of the progress that we weren't able to get to today, we're going to do on our live stream. So let's back off here real quick. And as you can see, we walk through here and there's once again all the little different pieces of ground cover and detail in the ground. So, standard dirt, coarse dirt, jungle wood, clay, and, andesite, rock, and all sorts of good stuff. So let's head up here. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a little water down in this little thing here. We might do that. That might look kind of cool. Maybe some water could actually cross under here. That might be really cool. So there's our tunnel, looking super fancy. So what I'm thinking is we could do maybe 1 or 2 trees in this area, and then maybe just like one right about there and maybe one there. So we want to keep them very sparse. But I think that might look pretty cool. So, of course, here is the covered archway going into the tunnel. So I added a little bit of plant life here and there on the sides, and then added some little slabs on along here, looking very good. And then on the ground here, we've got some rocks and some little pieces of stone. And I just think this came out pretty cool. So we can see all sorts of cool little caves and details and a little bit of stone sticking through the wood here and there, just giving it a little bit more of a design that I think came out pretty good. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and in our next episode we will start on our last bridge, and then we'll start working on our farmhouse and our barns and all sorts of other great stuff. So if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated, and until next time, we'll see you later, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter.